Manny, get a picture of this, will you? Now, is there any truth to the rumor that Buddy Barker has left the country?
I wouldn't know. I'm not the traveler's aid.
Mrs. Ashley, do you and Mr. Barker have marriage in mind?
Ever know a girl over 7 who didn't have marriage on her mind?
Well, are you engaged? Mr. Barker won't comment.
No comment.
State your full name for this committee.
Mrs. Samantha Ashley.
And what is your present occupation?
I'm not working right now.
Well, your previous occupation then.
I was employed by Mr. Buddy Barker.
Would you tell the committee in what capacity you function?
I was his social secretary and official hostess.
Wouldn't procurer be a more appropriate description for your type of work, Mrs. Ashley?
I object. I should like the chair to caution Mr. Fallon on his outrageous semantics.
Why don't you ask Senator Wagstaff over there? He's quite familiar with my type of work.
Now, we are all here for only one thing, to determine the fitness of Mr. Barker to retain his privileged position as congressional coordinator and to make our recommendations to the Senate. Now, suppose we keep that in mind, huh?
All right, Mrs. Ashley. You are employed by Buddy Barker as a social secretary?
I was.
Fine, was. Now, where and when were your services first engaged? It was at Mr. Barker's Forum Club, was it not? In Maryland. Chevy Chase, Maryland?
No. It was at the Clayton Hotel in Miami Beach. Miami Beach, Florida.
Quinn, I want you to get rid of Barker. I will not have a graft artist running my campaign. Particularly one who's been associated with every fat fryer in Washington.
Frank, you'd better come down out of the clouds and start facing reality. The minute a man shows a measure of success in business, the losers start yelling dirty pool.
What about his Forum Club? Do you have any idea what goes on in that fashionable brothel?
Frank, instead of running for the U.S. Senate, maybe you better run for president of the DAR.
Oh. You think I'm a prude to repudiate a Roman circus?
Now, there is a damn refreshing campaign issue I swear no candidate has ever used before. Mr. Carlton, you are the answer to a campaign manager's dream. You have that small touch of artistic madness. Hello, yeah, Quinn. I see you're off that 900-calorie diet and you're sneaking those fudge sundaes again. Congratulations, Carlton. You've accomplished the miracle of Massachusetts. Do you realize that old Buzzard Lunigan hasn't been challenged in the last 36 years? Hell, he burnt that first witch of Salem. My profound compliments, sir.
Quinn here seems to think I need help to win the election.
Well, sir, even God needs a few disciples.
I found just the thing, and the whole dinner is only $4.25. I'm putting you on an eye because it sort of carries out the feeling of the menu.
What is the menu?
Pompano Hawaiian.
Miss Ashley, you're a genius. You have that indescribable quality, the small touch of artistic madness. Forgive me, Miss Ashley, this is Buddy Barker. Buddy, this is Samantha Ashley. This young lady just saved Quinn here $1,612.50.
Hello, Sam.
Well, I think I'll go back to my room and collapse for an hour.
All right, Quinn. See you at dinner.
Good afternoon.
Bye.
I'd be truly delighted if you'd do me the honor of being my dinner companion, Miss Ashley.
Oh, I'd love to, but I can't.
You have another engagement?
Oh, no. It's just that it's against the hotel rules. Mr. Chicory
Would lay an egg, no doubt.
I can take care of Mr. Chicory.
Oh, please don't, Mr. Carlton. Besides, like Mr. Goldfarb, I couldn't do you justice in the formal dress department.
Well, the invitation's open if you should change your mind.
It's the most wonderful one I've ever had. Thank you.
Well, I think I'll shower and get ready for this evening's ballyhoo. Oh, Buddy, don't go away. I'd like to talk over your interest in the Forum Club.
Well, as a matter of fact, I was thinking of selling my interest. It all depends on how busy I'll be until November.
We'll see.
Cinderella, come to the ball.
I can't.
Sure you can.
But you don't understand my boss. He's a real Rasputin. He'd say, by all means, Mr. Carlton. And I'd get fired in the morning.
So what?
So what? So disaster, that's what. It took me 2 years to work up from a waitress in the coffee shop. That's what.
And if you're a good little girl, you might wind up in old Chickadee's shoes.
Old chickadees never die. They're tough old birds. Besides, it's chicory.
So what's your future? You know, with a little renovation, you might be a very interesting girl.
Really?
Really? You don't know how to dress, and your conversational chin-chin is pure guys and dolls. But underneath that Daisy May hairdo, there's an untapped mental machine. How much do they pay you in this air-conditioned paradise?
$125 a week. Why?
Well, how would 300 strike you?
Mr. Barker, I may not be up to your conversational chin-chin, but I know bunco artists and phonies. I wrestle them every day, 3 out of 4 with my eyes closed.
You're not paying attention. Now, besides your salary, you'll get a wardrobe that will make Princess Grace sick with envy. And a crash course in elocution. The more important skills.
If you weren't a nut, I'd think you were a lunatic.
I'm serious. I never joke. I haven't got the time.
But why? What do I have to do to win this fabulous jackpot? Tear off the top of my new car and send it in with a statement of 25 words or less?
Well,
You are a lunatic.
here. Go take care of that wardrobe problem you were mentioning. No, on second thought, I had better go with you. Because if I leave you to your own devices, you're liable to show up tonight in 18 yards of girlish net, all lathered with sequins.
You'd better level with me. What do I trade?
He likes you. I need him. He doesn't like me.
Well, you're honest.
Only when I have to be.
Well, it was a ball while it lasted.
Now, what's the matter?
My bed is not for business.
Who said it was?
You did?
You're the one with the dirty mind.
Well, then what? I don't understand.
Be charming to him. He's a lonely old bachelor.
Now, Mrs. Ashley, what precisely was your relationship to the Republican senatorial candidate from the state of Massachusetts?
I refuse to answer the question on grounds that it may tend to incriminate me.
Mr. Chairman, it's quite obvious that Mrs. Ashley intends to be a very uncooperative witness.
Oh, I'm sure you're quite right, Mr. Fallon.
Psst.
However, I feel we should continue
Bastard's
to make
just
your
pouting because he was never invited to any of our parties.
I'll answer them, a matter of official record.
Very well, sir. Now, Mrs. Ashley, it is Mrs. Ashley, is it not?
I've been divorced for 3 years.
And you have a child residing in Florida?
He lives with my mother.
And you? Do you, live with your mother?
You never told me I had to live in the same house with you.
I never said you didn't either.
You know something, Mr. Barker? You're a first-class liar.
I always travel first class.
What I mean is, you're pretty cagey. It's not what you say. It's what you don't say that makes you a liar. You're a liar by omission.
What if I omitted? Oh, yes. My old man was ward boss, so he wangled me an appointment as a Senate page boy. Now, what he really wanted was West Point. But he didn't control a big enough ward, so Brooklyn's loss was Capitol Hill's gain. What do you have?
Coca-Cola.
Coke. With what? Rum?
Just straight. I'm not much of a drinker. Fact is, I don't drink at all. I don't smoke either.
You don't drink, you don't smoke. You know, I can't figure you out. That's some sort of a kooky dame.
I'm not kooky at all. I'm not much of a drinker because it gets to you after a while. You know, you've seen girls who drink a lot. They look like a beautiful city after the Blitz.
You one of those health nuts?
What can you do without your help? But it seems to me we came down here to pick up a paperback edition of your life, not mine.
You're right. And as we join young Buddy Barker, he is bushy-tailed, bright-eyed, and full of ideals. A fresh punk. But don't go away, folks, because after this commercial, we'll return to Buddy in Washington. Still young, still bushy-tailed, not so full of ideals, and even fresher punk. And those ideals, honey. I learned to cultivate a perfect political personality. A personality so baggy and so formless that I was able to accommodate the image of a left, a right, center on 3 successive days, but without even a blush.
Mrs. Ashley, did you ever personally procure for Mr. Carlton?
I object, I object, I object. Mr. Fallon's obscene strategy is insufferable. May I remind counsel and the committee that Mrs. Ashley is not on trial? If Mr. Fallon persists in this line of questioning, I shall have to ask my client to leave immediately.
Mr. Fallon, would you rephrase the question?
Very well, sir. But I would like to point out to my esteemed colleague that if she'd take the trouble to look up the word procure in her dictionary, she'd find that its primary definition is to obtain by great care and effort. It was in this regard that I employed the word. Perhaps a poor choice of words under the circumstances.
Mrs. Ashley, we're aware of the fact that Mr. Barker has been conducting Frank Carlton's campaign for the Senate. Now, what we're interested in is your participation in this regard.
I don't understand the question.
If the chair pleases. Isn't it a fact, Mrs. Ashley, that you and Mr. Barker employed the services of a Miss Angela Wallace
Yes.
on behalf of Mr. Frank Carlton?
Yes.
And in what capacity were her services employed?
I refuse to answer the question on grounds that it may tend to incriminate me.
Very well, Mrs. Ashley. You've stated that you never worked at the Forum Club.
Yes.
Would you tell us how many other women you hired for Mr. Barker?
Mr. Fallon, your insinuations are disingenuous.
Would you prefer I call a spade a spade?
Well, it's a damn sight better than calling it a shovel. Why'd you just come right out and ask Mrs. Ashley if she was a pimp?
Mrs. Rogers.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Fallon contends we're wasting valuable time while he wanders around in a boxwood maze of innuendo.
Mrs. Rogers, I was referring to your indelicate choice of words.
You mean pimp? Well, I see nothing wrong with the word pimp. It's a perfectly sound Anglo-Saxon word found in any edition of Webster's Collegiate Dictionary.
I see a contempt charge, Mrs. Rogers, if you persist in this. My advice to you is to be more discreet.
Miss Felbridge, sorry to keep you so late. As soon as you type these, you can go. You can drop them off at the post office on your way home. Thanks.
Well, hi. I've been sitting at the La Milana since 5 o'clock. And it got rather embarrassing after the third chap made a pass at me.
Oh, you gorgeous, neglected creature. I'm a brute. We had a date.
Well, I started to phone. And I said, nope. If he doesn't care, he just doesn't care.
Oh, but I do care.
Well, it's too late. The evening is kaput.
I'm all yours.
Oh, yes? Miss Samantha Ashley? I have a free half hour between Senator Thingamajig and Congressman What's-His-Name. Well, no thank you, old chap. My mother told me never to take candy from strangers. And right now, there's nobody that I know stranger than you.
You could have come and dragged me away.
I'm not your governess.
We can do anything you like.
Anything?
Anything.
Yes. What did you say it was?
Put him on. Hello, Frank. Oh, of course not. It's at my office catching up on some work. Well, I don't think I can get away. Session reconvenes tomorrow. You know what that does to my time. What about Samantha? What if I send Sam up? Sure, I'll let her go. Great. Bye. Sam.
Miss Wallace, you were born in England, were you not?
Yes, sir. Ipswich. That's very close to London.
And are you an American citizen?
No, sir. Not yet. But I filed for my first papers.
Are you aware, Miss Wallace, that deportation proceedings have been instituted against you as an undesirable alien?
Mr. Fallon, we'd like to hear the grounds for those proceedings.
Mr. Chairman, Miss Wallace is testifying as to Mr. Barker's activities. I think it's a blatant invasion of a right to privacy as guaranteed under the Constitution to make public certain aspects of a personal life.
Mrs. Rogers, are you presuming to tell this committee what their prerogatives are?
Senator Tully, this witness has not been found guilty of a single charge. There's been no decision made as to any deportation. So I therefore insist that your line of questioning is not only out of order, it is indecorous of you to submit Miss Wallace to these imprecations.
It is fairly broad legend, Mrs. Rogers, that Miss Wallace has been assaulted by more than imprecations.
I'd say that remark was an excruciating taste.
All right. Let's have an end to this. I feel I have been more than lenient in allowing this exchange to go on as long as I have. I don't think we need delve into Miss Wallace's problem with the State Department. Mr. Fallon, would you please pursue another line of questioning?
Certainly, sir. Miss Wallace, what is your occupation?
Personal secretary.
To whom?
Mr. Frank Carlton.
How much were you paid?
$150 a week.
$150 a week, I see. But you're not employed by Mr. Carlton at the present time?
Not at the present time?
Or by anybody else?
No, sir.
And haven't been for how long?
For 2 months.
It continually amazes me to see how well some people can live on their unemployment insurance. Now, Miss Wallace, I'd like to get back to the first meeting with Samantha Ashley. I believe that took place in Boston.
Okay, open up in there. This is the house detective.
Bradley? Or thrown out of the country. That's what I have to do.
I'm terribly sorry. I seem to be in the wrong room.
Oh, really? Shame to waste such a dazzling entrance.
Please, could I stay here just for a few moments? You see, I'm afraid of walking.
Right into the arms of an irate wife. An out-of-focus photographer. And a lecherous private detective. No, honey. I wouldn't do a thing like that to you.
How did you know?
I worked in a hotel. But isn't it a little early in the day? Even for a matinee?
Spends his evenings with his family. Oh, he'd marry me in a minute. Only his religion won't permit it. He can't get a divorce because he's very devout.
I know the type. Wonderful father and devoted to adultery. You're English, aren't you? How long have you been in this country?
Oh, about 3 years.
Are you working?
Not at the moment. Brad's been, well, you understand.
I've got a hunch your 4 and 8 is about to be cut off.
Oh, boy. Do I dread the thought of going back into show business. For me, that's the real Twilight Zone. You can't imagine how bilious it is unless you've hoofed away your 10 best years. As a feather duster in the second line of a second company in a second-rate production.
What are feather dusters?
Oh, you know, those ostrich plumes. There's at least one number in every musical where the girls come out looking like great bloody birds.
Oh my gosh, that's got to be Frank. I said 15 minutes. Go fix your face while I fix an alibi. The name's Samantha Ashley.
Oh, Angela Wallace.
Come in.
Hi.
Hi. I don't know where that 15 minutes went to. How's the campaign going?
Well, the polls seem to indicate I'm a serious threat. But you know what happened to Tom Dewey?
Buddy says you're a cinch.
Well, I'm glad somebody thinks so.
Frank, I'd like you to meet a very dear friend of mine, Angela Wallace. Angela, this is Frank Carlton, Senator Frank Carlton.
Oh, come on, Sam. Not senator yet, just a candidate. How do you do?
How do you do?
Sam, you never told me about Miss Wallace.
Well, I never knew about Miss Wallace. Oh, that is that she was going to be here in Boston.
Well, now I've got two lovely ladies to take to lunch.
Frank, let me beg off. I've really got so much to do. You and Angela have lunch together.
Well, that's wonderful for me, if it's all right with Miss Wallace.
She'd love to.
Good, I'll make the reservation.
But I have to meet my aunt for lunch.
Well, you can have lunch here. I'll stop by the desk and leave a message for her. No problems. Okay, Angie?
Okay.
See you later.
Say, is it too early for a drink?
Well, it is really. But I could sure use one. It's been quite a morning.
Oh, really?
Really.
Room service? What do you have?
Gin and bitter lemon.
This is room... I can't see a thing without my glasses.
413.
Room 413. I'd like to order a scotch and soda, J&B, and gin and bitter lemon. No, not bitters, bitter lemon. Who makes it?
Commander Whitehead.
Schweppes. You don't have any.
Well, tonic.
Tonic, then. Fine. Do you think a man ought to wear a toupee? Well, I mean, it used to be considered, well, it wasn't masculine.
Oh, you Americans, you're so worried about your masculinity. Besides, I don't think you need it.
Look here.
Ooh. Well, you're in luck. You're tall. Just make sure you never sit down.
Oh, fine. I'll spend the rest of my life standing up in dark corners. Like the yogi. See, they can think of more ways to make life unbearable for themselves. Standing on their heads or sitting in the lotus position.
What?
The lotus position. It's pretty hard to explain. I'll show it to you. I haven't done this a couple of years. But the idea is to take this leg and, say, you wouldn't care to join me down here, would you?
No, thank you.
I didn't think so. Well, anyway, you hit this leg. Ooh, ooh. You know, I'm just liable to get it over and... Oh, the waiter. Say, you know something?
Don't tell me.
I'm stuck.
Miss Wallace, please, try and contain yourself.
Yes, Miss Wallace, I fail to see any humor in this situation. Unless, of course, you consider these hearings a joke.
Mr. Fallon, You have about as much sensitivity as Heinrich Himmler. Can't you see that Miss Wallace is on the verge of collapse?
Well, that's one way of avoiding questions. And much more dramatic than pleading the Fifth Amendment.
Mr. Fallon.
Mr. Chairman, it appears that to proceed at this time would be futile. It's almost 4 o'clock. I move we adjourn until tomorrow.
Well, I agree, Senator Wagstaff. I hope both councils come in tomorrow with their boiling points considerably lowered.
Damn it, Angie, if you'd only told me, instead of my having to hear it whispered in Capitol corridors.
Frank, there was nothing to tell.
Nothing to tell, nothing to tell. Then what in hell are you testifying for?
Subpoena, do you know that? Do you think I'd go down there otherwise?
They must have had some reason for serving you. They must have thought you were involved in some way.
I already told you I know nothing about Buddy's business. Sam and Buddy and I are friends, good friends, and that's all.
Did he give you anything? Any money?
That's why I adore you. You're so trusting.
I'm only trying to clear the air for our relationship.
Our relationship? That's a laugh. You've shown me what you really think of our relationship. What is our relationship really built on? Trust? Understanding? Oh, love. You Americans are all alike. You haven't a clue what love really means. To you, love is some kind of a dirty word all wrapped up with sex to be hung up in the morning with your pajamas. Oh, why don't you just clear out of here and let me get a hold of myself? God knows, I'm gonna need all my strength for what I have to face tomorrow.
Angela.
What is it now?
Please forgive me.
Miss Wallace, just what were your duties as Mr. Carlton's personal secretary?
Well, I suppose you'd say Girl Friday. I typed his press releases and speeches and kept his appointment book. And I was the hostess to various luncheons and receptions, teas.
Do you recall a party at the home of Mr. Buddy Barker?
I've been to several parties at Mr. Barker's home.
I would like to suggest, Miss Wallace, that you and Mr. Barker conspired secretly to prevent Mr. Carlton from attending a certain notorious party being given in his honor.
That's not true.
I would further suggest that Mr. Barker had substantial reason for preventing his candidate from attending his own bandwagon ball. Mr. Barker knew his candidate would be appalled at the barrel tapping and the melon splitting that would go on at that bohemian affair.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, I think you do. I'm referring to a certain extraordinary affair that took place on...
I think I need a respirator. That's some for a nice cold coat.
Better take it easy. Keep on breathing any deeper, you're going to erupt like Vesuvius.
I want you so furiously.
Seymour? What, Seymour?
Gee, Mr. Barker, this is the most wonderful party I've ever been to. I'm glad you didn't come as a monster.
Honey, I didn't have to dress for the party.
You're no monster.
You flatter me.
Buddy. Buddy.
That's my name. What?
Nothing, just Buddy.
Okay, Cassius, you're the greatest.
Maybe, but you prefer the amateurs.
Please. Do you have to do that?
I have to. I'm defending my title.
Okay. You be a good girl and bring me a handful of aspirins.
Ask Mona. I hear she's pretty good.
Mona?
Troglodyte!
like to know something.
Name it.
How many other Sams have you had in this house of pleasure?
Oh, honey, she doesn't mean anything to me. I was loaded last night.
I don't mean Mona. I couldn't dream of you remembering all the Monas. I mean, how many Sams? How many live-in counselors in charge of recreation? With occasional overtime for the chief? That's what I thought. Why? Couldn't you have these services from separate flunkies? A lot cheaper, in fact. And you wouldn't have to worry about chucking guests out of your bed in the morning.
Do you really care?
Do you know what? I think you're even worse than I thought. I thought you were just out for the fun of it. But you know what it is? You know what you're really after? You're really trying to prove how rotten and worthless it all is. And that's what this whole setup is for. This whole rotten setup.
You're out of your head. You think this place is all just an amusement park? Well, I'll tell you what it is. It's Buddy's trampoline, kid. You know, I never went to Groton or Harvard. And I'll let you in on a little secret. I never even finished 10th grade, for God's sakes.
The world is full of poor boys who never got...
Baloney. Don't start that log cabin stuff with me. I'm a toady, but I've never had the time to be a ward healer. And you may be interested to know that when Field of March gets the sack next month, this playboy is very likely to be the next Under-Secretary of Commerce.
Oh, sure, that too. Under and over secretary. The whole administration will go under. And they won't go down saluting either. They'll have to abdicate.
Oh, Asia, shut up! Are you abandoning Asia?
Hello, Sam. How's your bird?
Oh, shut up.
Just fell over your status symbols. What am I supposed to do with them?
Put them back in stock.
But they're personalized.
Find another Sam.
I like the one I got.
I know your feelings, kid. You'll be heartbroken until lunch.
I would like you to stay.
Sure you would. But for no really important reason. Just because you're a hoarder and you can't stand apart with anything.
You're not part of my hoard.
No. I'm leaving, so that distinguishes me.
I've always been special, Sam. You know that.
Sure. You monogram my sable.
Damn you, Samantha. I am not a beggar. I don't beg. Is that what you want me to do? You want me to beg?
Let me go, buddy. There's a nice little unhectic studio couch back in Florida. I'm going to curl up on it with a TV schedule and a can of beer and watch the rest of the human race go through the agony.
What if I told you you can't go? That's right, you heard me. You can't leave. Don't you understand me? I love you, you dimwit.
What?
I love you. You idiot. Idiot. Damn fool woman. Tiger. Tiger.
What did you say?
I love you. What is a chocolate diet?
Hello, Betty. No one was here. I thought maybe...
Please, next time either meet me at my home or call first.
Betty, it's important. I had to come.
What could be so important?
I went to see the doctor yesterday.
The doctor. Are you trying to tell me you're pregnant? Well, I suppose by all hallowed movie customs, I'm supposed to say, are you sure? Then you say, you are. And then I say, is it mine? And then you say, no one else has touched me. And then we arrive at the either-or situation. Either you have it, or you don't.
Betty, I like children.
That's the answer of the week. I like subways, but I never ride on them.
I didn't want to cause any trouble.
It's simple.
Simple.
Nowadays, it's no worse than having a tooth pulled.
Come on, honey. I know you're running scared right now.
It's not only that.
Sure, honey. There's a life inside you. Another life, and you don't want to give it up. Makes you feel guilty, like it isn't your decision to make. But you've got to look at it another way, too. Kids are a big responsibility. I know I've got one of my own. And yours would be facing the greatest handicap there is. No father and a mother who doesn't know what she wants from minute to minute.
I do know.
Buddy, Moan and I will work this out.
I'm sorry about this, kid. I'll make it right for you.
Right. He's going to make it right. How can anyone make it right? Marry me long enough to... till the labor pains wear off. Give me money. Just carve a piece out of me. Cry for me.
Oh, stop wallowing in self-pity. It wasn't the rape of Lucrece. Nobody lashed you to the bed, and you haven't been a wide-eyed virgin in years.
But I love him.
Oh, honey. Don't we all love him? Don't we all love Buddy? to a big, beautiful disaster. But he's out of the question, sweetie. He's always been out of the question. He's committed for life to Buddy Barker.
Sorry to have kept you waiting. Had to drive the kids home from Sunday school. You'll find a gown right in there. Glorious day out, isn't it? I usually go horseback riding on Sundays. Wonderful exercise riding. Do you ride? Oh, you can leave your slip on if you like. Now, let's see. Did I ask you if you ever had pentothal?
I don't think so.
Wonderful anesthetic. Just like a piece of time out of mind. Wonderful. This isn't your first pregnancy, is it, Miss Taylor?
My name is Archer.
Oh, yes, here it is, Archer. Mona Archer. You know, I have a son named Archer. It's a good name. Pity you can't have the child. It's a wonderful name for a boy. Now, let's see. You're about 3 months along, huh? Well, no problem at all. Anybody picking you up?
No.
Well, that's all right. I'll drive you home. You just have somebody there give you a little dinner and keep you off your feet for a day or two.
I live alone.
Oh? Well, don't worry. It isn't major surgery. Just make yourself comfortable on the table there. Get your blood pressure here. See if everything's all right. That's right. Just get comfortable. There you are. Don't be frightened now. You're a very fortunate young lady. You know, I've delivered all 3 of Senator Wagstaff's children. As a matter of fact, I've delivered some of the most influential babies in Washington. You know, I seldom take this sort of thing. Most of you kids generally wind up with those criminal quacks. Yeah, it's a pity when the modern society won't provide decently for the facts of life. Now, don't you be scared. There's absolutely nothing to be scared of.
I would have loved to have had it.
Are you saying you don't want me to go ahead? My dear young girl, I'll be the very first to say good luck and God bless you.
Oh, no, I can't. It wouldn't work out. It'd be more cruel later on.
You're, absolutely sure?
I can have other babies.
Oh, at least a dozen, if you're so inclined. Now, you just relax and start counting slowly from 100. Backwards.
100, 99, 98, 97, 96, 95, 94, 98, 92, 93, 91, 98.
Mr. Chairman, the next witness I'd like to call is Miss Mona Archer.
Would you call Mona Archer, please?
Mr. Chairman, I strongly object to the introduction of Miss Archer as a witness in this hearing.
On what grounds, Mrs. Rogers?
On the grounds that she's incompetent to testify. Why, she's under intensive psychiatric care.
Mr. Chairman, there is some merit in what Mrs. Rogers says. May I suggest that we allow Dr. Lin to testify first, and perhaps this might give us an insight in the state of Miss Archer's mental condition.
Very well. Dr. Linder, will you rise and take the oath? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
State your full name, please.
Dr. Morris Linder.
You may sit down.
You are a licensed MD?
I am.
Are you a specialist of any kind, Doctor?
I'm a psychiatrist.
Very well, sir. Dr. Linder, are you familiar with Miss Mona Archer?
Yes, she is under my care.
And that young lady in the wheelchair, that is Miss Archer, is it not?
Oh, it is.
I must ask you to look at her, Doctor.
It is.
Doctor, I wonder if you'd be kind enough as to advise this committee on Miss Archer's medical history. And we would appreciate your diagnosis and prognosis in, well, non-medical terms whenever possible, Doctor.
I first saw Miss Archer at the Bethesda Mental Hospital about 2 months ago. The same day that she was sent to a Dr. Victor Endicott for the purpose of having a D&C.
You mean an abortion?
Yes, sir. A dilation and curettage, our term for an abortion.
Thank you, Doctor.
Well, after the surgery, when the anesthetic wore off, Miss Archer awoke to find herself in the intimate embrace of Dr. Endicott. Miss Archer was suffering acute anxiety preceding her abortion, and the shock of this incident so appalled her and intensified her conflict that she went into a state of traumatic shock.
Please, continue, Doctor.
You have here a classic example of hysterical paralysis. Miss Archer has mentally divorced herself from the lower half of her body. In other words, she has paralyzed herself from the waist down as though this part of her body never existed. In effect, this is her means of denying that the event ever took place.
How long has this condition prevailed, Doctor?
Well, about 2 months, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I find this testimony most extraordinary. I'm sure our witness is testifying in good faith, but I feel certain that he's been made the innocent victim of a lie. I know Dr. Endicott personally. He's delivered all 3 of my children. He'd be incapable of such a monstrous business. I feel the only fair thing is to hear the story straight from his accuser.
Dr. Linder, would you allow us to question Miss Archer?
My first inclination would be to say no. In the recreation of her terror, we could release something that we really wouldn't care for. But no one could be certain of anything concerning the psyche. In the interest of this committee's investigation, I will make no protest to your questioning, Miss Archer.
Well, I will. Why, this is nothing but a cheap theatrical trick. We've already heard what supposedly happened to Miss Archer. Obviously, the story, true or false, comes from her. I see no reason to have to repeat it this hearing.
I insist that she be permitted to testify. After all, the reputation of a highly respected professional man is at stake here.
Oh, if you think it'll help salve your conscience, Senator, I'll certainly withdraw my objection.
What do you mean by that?
Nothing, Senator. Absolutely nothing.
Would you bring Miss Archer forward, please?
Angie, take it easy.
Ah, don't be such an old hair shirt again.
Darling, I'm only thinking of you. I've had to pack you an ice every morning this week.
You're cute. Isn't he cute? cute for such a pious old wet blanket. Hey, tell them the news, Frankie. Go on, tell them the news. Make an announcement. You're so good at announcements.
Come on, sweetie. Let's get you out of that dress. You light a cigarette and you're gonna be one hell of a peach flame-o.
Flambe.
Flambe.
Would you care to enlighten me?
Oh, you mean about Angela's announcement?
Yeah, I mean Angie's announcement. And if it's what I think it is, at the risk of sounding like your mother, you're not serious about it, are you?
Well, she was a bit premature. I told her we couldn't possibly make the announcement until after the election.
Level with me, Frank. This wasn't your idea. Resistance is low. It's been a rough campaign. And that...
Buddy, please don't attack her. I know all the reasons. This may seem trite to you, but I've never met anyone like her before. Buddy, I missed out on an awful lot when I was a younger fella. This girl has brought that all back to me, all those years that I thought were lost. Do you understand?
I understand. And it's great you finally awaken. But now that your eyes are open, for God's sakes, look out of them. Look at her. She might be 20 years your junior, but she is all washed up.
Just a minute.
Let me finish, Frank. She washes you up, too. Are you willing to toss out your lifetime dream because of a floozy?
What the hell do you mean she's all washed up?
I mean she's all washed up. She's been taking the easy way out so long, she hasn't got a spine left, pal. She's a gutless wonder.
Buddy, I told you that's enough. I won't talk about it anymore.
What the devil do you have in common? Vertically speaking, that is. Name me one thing you like doing together. Just one.
You're a louse, Barker.
Spare me your lip, Molly Goldberg. Stay out of this.
Where's Angie?
She's lying down.
Out cold, no doubt. Now, why, Frank? Why has she been propping up the bar lately?
I think it's that damn Inquisition.
What is she afraid of, I wonder? That's what I'd like to know.
What's she afraid of? Boy, for a smart boy, you're really a jerk. They're trying to toss her out of the country, and you say, what's she afraid of?
Frank, will you listen to me? Look, after you testify tomorrow, clear out of Washington for a few weeks. Go up to Boston until you're ready for the tour. It's gonna be a rough go. Campaigning one-night stands, speaking every night. Meanwhile, if my problem here gets worse, I can direct your campaign by remote control. But you, Frank, you'll be in the clear. As long as you put some distance between you and that parasite.
I warned you to watch your mouth.
Why? I've been a quiet boy till now. I haven't opened up my mouth.
Buddy.
He's got to know, Sam. He's got to know what he's giving up the Senate for.
Not from you, buddy. He'd never forgive you.
Move like a Mohican.
Well, that figures. I'm the last of the Mohicans. Anyway, how would you know how a Mohican moves?
If I'm planning to be a proper senator's wife, they should know all about their constituents, shouldn't they?
Well, I doubt if your Mohicans will be a serious threat in the coming elections.
Well, I keep on hearing how you shouldn't ignore the minorities.
Are you feeling better?
Well, like headhunters made with a shrinking fluid.
Angie, what can I say to reassure you? What is it, Angie? Why are you so unwound? I told you it doesn't make a damn bit of difference if they do send you back to England. You're more glamorous to get married in London anyway. Then you can come back as my wife.
Will make a difference to you. You won't come to London, Frankie. They'll brainwash little Angela right out of your head. Those smart political nannies of yours. I know them. Those happy blue noses with their blue pencils and their blue minds.
You think I'm such an old pushover? I love you. Don't you know that? Angie, don't, please don't. No one's ever cried for me before.
Oh, my darling. Why did it have to be you? I never counted on you.
Angie, don't. Please don't, dearest.
You Puritan. It's all right. It doesn't matter. Believe me. It doesn't matter.
But why? Why would I love you so?
Don't love, please. It doesn't matter. Believe me.
It matters, all right. It matters like hell. Oh, what a sublime joke. What a masterpiece of irony.
Gentlemen, we are about to have a witness that cannot plead the Fifth Amendment. With your indulgence, gentlemen.
With your indulgence, Mr. Fallon, I would like to have just one small word about the coming attraction.
Mrs. Rogers, I'm not quite sure what to call this attraction. Well, in point of fact, this film is not the usual sort of attraction.
Mr. Fallon, if I didn't know you so well, I swear you're going to run a stag reel.
Precisely.
Mr. Chairman, I am appalled.
Well, once we agree. I was too. We naturally wouldn't dream of subjecting you to it. Lower the blinds.
Just a minute. I demand a justification for this cavalier introduction of pornography. Well, this is the most outrageous theatrical display of histrionics I've ever encountered in all my years of practice.
Mr. Fallon, I'm afraid I must agree with this. What's your justification for introducing this,
Stag reel?
Stag reel.
Mr. Chairman, we shall prove that Mr. Barker was responsible for the production of this film.
You may show your film, Mr. Fallon.
Wow, this is the desecration of these hallowed halls.
Well, I'm sure we must not embarrass Mrs. Rogers by subjecting her to this exhibition.
Senator Tully, I am an attorney, not a woman.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
Stop it, it's going too fast.
I'm sure Mr. Fallon would hate to miss a single frame of it.
Let me go.
What's the matter?
Let me go. I don't feel well.
Okay, let's sit here. Look, I'm going to get a doctor. Cal, get a doctor right away. What is it?
Did you see it?
What? What?
God, I've never felt this way.
What?
Angela. Angela.
I try to tell you. I try to tell you, Frank.
I'm all right. I'm all right. I'll be all right now. Well, I guess I've got a lot of catching up to do before November 3rd. You still think I've got a chance?
Well, it's going to take some doing. But we've got a jewel of a machine to take you there. That's if you're prepared to drive it like the devil right up to Election Day.
Full speed ahead. And are you? Candidate?
You're damn right you're my candidate. Frank.
Frank! Frank! Frank!
This girl has brought that all back to me, all those years that I thought were lost.
How many other Sams have you had?
You know, I never went to Groton or Harvard. And I'll let you in on a little secret. I never even finished 10th grade, for God's sakes.
I'm glad you didn't come as a monster. You're cute. Sitting cute for such a pious old wet blanket. Hey, tell them the news, Frankie. Go on, tell them the news. Make an announcement. You're so good at announcements.
I told her we couldn't possibly make the announcement after the election.
I like children.
She is all
You
washed
never
up.
told me I had to live in the same house with you.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know anyone was still here.
Buddy.
The forecast said fair and warmer. I like that guy. I really liked him.
Why don't you turn around and let me see you cry? Why are you ashamed to cry for him? Why didn't you call me, buddy? I had to hear it on the radio.
I'm dead. There's no way back. Of course I'm dead.
It's Frank who's dead.
I was almost there. Took 12 years to build. And in one split second, it's gone. That's all it took. 1 second. Where are you going, sir? She was my own true love. Till it started to rain.
You taught me how to discriminate, my darling. How not to settle for cheap imitations. So I can't settle for you, buddy. Because you're a cheap imitation of a human being.